welcome back to Googie's Kitchen. My name's Alexis and today I want to show you how to make my delicious homemade custard from my new cookbook, Gifts from Grandpa. Today I want to show you how to make my delicious homemade custard, but before I do, if you are new to my channel, then hello and welcome. It's lovely to have you here, and if you like cooking channels like this one and you want to see more videos, then I upload every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 AM, so please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As I just mentioned, today I want to show you how to make my delicious homemade custard, and this recipe is in my new cookbook, Gifts from Grandpa, which is available to buy on Amazon, and I will link it in the description box below for you. This book has been written in loving memory of my dad, because I think that my dad was an amazing cook and I wanted to share his recipes with you. So I decided to write this book, and in this book are lots of my dad's recipes, a few of mine, a couple of my nans and one of my grandfather's as well. My dad also believed that everybody should have a home and everybody should have a place to go to. So £1 from the sale of each book will go to the homeless charity Crisis. Now onto my homemade custard, and this recipe is actually my recipe, I have to say. My dad and Nan would have made custard from a tin when I was a kid, and don't get me wrong, I love bird's custard. For those of you who live in the UK, you'll know what bird's custard is, I'm sure. If you don't, where have you been? It's absolutely delicious. But unfortunately, I have a slight gluten allergy nowadays, and I'm also not too good on dairy either. And I also gave up processed foods and sugars as well. So that's why I don't eat the bird's custard anymore. So I decided to come up with my own recipe, and I thought I'd share it with you today. So here is how to make my delicious homemade custard. So for this recipe, you're going to need a tin of coconut milk. You can use coconut milk or you can use whole milk. As I mentioned earlier, I have a slight dairy intolerance, so that's why I'm using coconut milk for this recipe. Then you're going to need 4 egg yolks as well, and then you're also going to need about 4 tablespoons of ground coconut sugar or ground brown sugar. The reason I'm using coconut sugar is simply because we digest it better than we do ordinary like caster sugar or white sugar, and I ground it up because it makes it easier to cook through the custard as well. I ground this in my NutriBullet, and you can use a NutriBullet or you can use a blender as well, that's perfect too. And then you're also going to need about 2 tablespoons of corn flour as well. And then finally, you're going to need, I said in the book, I think it was like a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla powder, but I haven't got any vanilla powder at the moment, so I've had to improvise, and I've actually got half a vanilla pod, and I've removed the seeds, but I'm going to throw the whole thing into the custard. So to start the recipe, I've emptied the contents of my tin of coconut milk, and I've just put it on a medium heat, and I'm going to continue to stir this now until it gets warm. Basically, you don't want it to boil because that's not good for the custard. You just want it to warm through gently. So the milk has started to warm through gently now. It's warm, but it's not too hot. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the coconut sugar to the egg yolk, and then I'm also going to add the corn flour to that as well, and I'm going to mix these two together until it forms like a thick paste. And then once it forms a thick paste, I'm going to pour this into the custard. There you go, it's started to form a thick paste now. So I'm just going to pour this into the custard, and then I'm going to continue to stir this. I'm actually going to turn the heat off the custard as well. So I'm just going to turn the heat off for a little while, and I'm going to continue to stir this until the custard starts to thicken, basically. I will turn the heat on in a little while, but I just want to stir this in first. So I'm just going to stir this in now. So that's nicely stirred in, and what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add my vanilla pod and the seeds from the vanilla pod as well. And I'm going to continue to stir this, and I'm also going to put the heat back on, but on a very gentle heat. So probably a medium to low heat, I'd say. I've got it on a number 5 here, but I know every hob is different, so you set it to what settings is right for you. And yeah, I'm just going to continue to stir this now until it starts to thicken, as I said earlier. So I've been stirring this for about 10 to 15 minutes now. It does take a long time for the custard to thicken, but it's so worth it in the end. There is a lot of effort that goes into homemade custard, but I just really enjoy the process of making it. I find this very therapeutic. I'm just going to remove the vanilla pod from the custard now. And that, my friends, is the custard done. It's really lovely and thick as well, if you can see there. And there's absolutely no lumps in that, so I'm really proud of that. I would leave it to cool for a little while, but I'm just too tempted by the smell. It smells absolutely amazing, so I'm just going to give this a little try now. And hopefully it should be delicious. Yeah, that is yummy. That is really nice. So that's how you make my delicious homemade custard, and I'm going to serve this to my husband and son this evening as a yummy midweek dessert treat. I might even serve it with some sliced bananas just for the memories as well. As I mentioned earlier, this recipe is in my new cookbook, Gifts from Grandpa, which is available to buy on Amazon, and I will link it in the description box below for you. I'll also link the recipe in the description box below too. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. Do you like making your own custard, or do you prefer it from a tin? I'd love to know, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.